Well, everyone, it's that time once again. Another 2xKO update, and a very, very big update at that. We got a whopping 57-minute dev video breaking down massive changes to the game's actual gameplay, information on the next playtest that's coming very soon, and even more details from the game's website and some social media bits. So, jumping right into some cliff notes for the big dev video. The video showcases several of our dev regulars, breaking down several changes since we last had hands-on time with Alpha Lab 1. Starting off with controls and their simplicity, as well as boasting a beautiful new Noxian map in the background just as some extra eye candy. It was a common complaint among Alpha Labbers that the game's control scheme was a bit hard to wrap your head around, and already they've been making some pretty big swaps here. The devs show off things like down heavy now acting as both your launcher and your anti-air option instead of them being two separate inputs. Generic overheads have been switched from forward medium to down forward medium instead, and perhaps bigger than all of this for all of you fellow 2-2 input haters, super moves will no longer require down inputs. It will now be activated by pressing a special move and normal button at the same time. So no more down. Thank goodness for that. Now moving right along, we also got more in depth with previously teased fuse changes, like pulse auto combos no longer being a fuse at all, and instead are a separate option that you can toggle on or off regardless of what fuse that you choose. Outside of that, there were also two brand new fuses showcased as well, Sidekick and Juggernaut, that very much seem geared towards allowing you to pilot one champion at a time and play 2xKO less of a tag game and more akin to a classic one character fighting game. Quoting the game's website, with Sidekick fuse, your point and assist champions never switch places. Instead, your point champ gets a health boost as well as a defensive boost while below 30% health. Meanwhile, your assist champ stays on the sidelines, supporting their teammate with assists and other abilities unique to this fuse. Now, just to be clear, this is still technically two characters being played at the same time, and in fact can be two players, but it is something where one player is sort of the pilot and the other person is just controlling assists and some other key actions like that. So it's a very interesting take. Now, another similar style to this, Juggernaut Fuse allows you to focus on one champion at a time by removing your assist abilities entirely. You also won't be able to switch champs except at the very beginning of each round. Luckily though, your point champ will also get some powerful buffs to make up for their lack of a teammate. So it's looking like for those of you who are less enthusiastic about tag fighting games, you'll be able to play 1xKO after all. Which is great, because I think a big complaint for tag game fighters, and especially people who are a little bit more daunted by it, is the idea of learning multiple characters at the same time. So this could be an excellent way for you to get your feet wet and just focus on learning that one character until you really get fluent with them and want to start wiggling your toes into some other stuff and maybe full-on duo play. Now, there's also been a reduction in combo length as a result of player feedback, and many more gameplay tweaks and balance changes that if you really want to get into the weeds of course, I recommend the full hour-long dev video, so I can keep this a little bit shorter and stick with mostly just the brand new stuff. But the gameplay tweaks weren't the only thing shown off in the dev video. We also got a much more in-depth look at Jinx and how she plays about halfway through at the 30-minute mark of the video, showing just how many chain gun options she has, her missile options, traps that she can lay out, and even finally showing off her unique mechanic Zap, how that fully works, and boy oh boy does Jinx look like she can just litter the entire screen with all sorts of different space control options and tools. She looks overall great, and even as somebody who typically doesn't play a lot of zoner characters in fighting games, I really can't wait to give her a try for myself and see just how all these cool looking interactions and things that she can do with her zoning game and space control. Now, hopping off of the dev video for a while and onto the game's official website, there was also confirmation on yes, we are finally getting the next online playtest. It's being called Alpha Lab 2, and the site breaks down a good amount of info on what you might expect. It'll feature all previously playable champions, and Jinx will be hopping in as well, of course. A couple new additions. Ranked play will finally be included in this new playtest, so it'll be nice to see what's been going on with that and how all of that is going to work. There's also been an overhaul to tutorials and the training mode, but they didn't get into a lot of detail on this quite yet. It just says, quote, Ari, Echo, and Braum have a lot more to say in the newly updated tutorial. Very good news for new folks, and another huge complaint being addressed from Alpha Lab 1. Of course, there will also be a new battle pass, as well as several new, never before seen skins available in this test as well, such as the ever popular pool party skins from League making their debut into XKO, some old favorites like God King Darius, and even some brand new skins to show off and earn in Alpha Lab 2, but will not be carrying over into the full game's release. So everything you earn or get within these tests, unfortunately, you will not get to keep once the game does fully launch. Now, some rather unfortunate news as well. This is going to be a smaller playtest than the first Alpha Lab, with the only regions being included will be the United States, Canada, and Brazil. Also, if you were in Alpha Lab 1, it does not guarantee that you will get invited to this second playtest, even if you are within those regions. So, all around, not great news for a lot of folks, I know, especially if you haven't had time to get your hands on with the game. It's not looking great for a lot of people getting their first go-arounds this time, but the devs did speak to why this was, and they emphasized that the reason for the smaller test is going to be that basically a big global test right now would almost certainly delay the game from actual launch. Putting resources to that was not really something they wanted to do. It seems like instead they went the route of really trying to hunker down and get this thing to the actual finish line. Now, another potential letdown for a lot of folks, Unconquerable did confirm via a Discord post that yes, there will only be 10 playable champions at launch. But again, it's the same mentality of they did not want to delay the game even further. At this point, they want to get it out and kind of work on it from there. Unfortunate, of course, but it is what it is. And again, hopefully at the bare minimum, we'll get an actual global playtest sometime soon. And we've got to be getting pretty close to launch, I imagine, at this point. Now, finally, there will also be a Q&A session with the game's developers via the game's official Discord. So if you have anything you want to go and ask, hop in, join the discussion. I imagine this will lead to some interesting conversation. But that's about all for now. Thanks so very much as always for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.